Life can be costly. That's the line that health insurance experts will sell you. But more than a catchy phrase that's good for business, it rings true to life. The thing is, there are several health costs that we can accumulate by neglecting our physical and even mental well-being. Here's the good news. Government remains consistent in addressing our health challenges, and we remain committed to sharing the stories of hope and information to effect change. In today's magazine, proper ways to safeguard your health and more. I'm Theodore Henry. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine.
Jamaicans consume on average 9 to 12 grams of sodium or salt per day, twice the World Health Organization recommended amount of less than 5 grams or 1 teaspoon of salt, and more ideally, less than 2 grams of sodium per adult per day from all food sources. This excess salt in the diet causes high blood pressure, kidney and bone damage, gastric cancer, obesity, and worsening of asthma. Reduce the amount of salt you consume to no more than 3 to 5 grams, or half to 1 teaspoon per day for adults, and less than 2 grams for children under 11 years of age. Let's shake the salt habit and live healthy. A public service message from the Jamaica Information Service.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, June 29, 2022. Government will not seek an extension of the state of public emergency SOE in St. Catherine, which ends on Friday. Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang made the announcement yesterday while speaking in Parliament. He says the crime situation in St. Catherine has improved significantly since the SOE was declared, giving the security forces the space to carry out targeted interventions.
We'll allow the current 14 days to expire, and the security forces have pledged to use whatever current tools they have, and to make strategic deployment to maintain the status quo.
The security minister says the situation will continue to be assessed, and the country will be advised if there is a need to reinstate a state of emergency in the parish. In the meantime, Minister Chang says government is reviewing the emergency powers regulations to ensure that all provisions are in keeping with the Constitution. This comes in response to the court's recent ruling in the case of Roshane Clark versus the Attorney General of Jamaica. The court ruled that the aim of the SOE was to prevent and curtail the increased crime rate in the parish in question, but also found that some of the regulations were cast too widely and consequently not constitutional. In response, Dr. Chang says government has consulted with the opposition, which has provided written comments to the Attorney General, and says the process will continue to do a thorough review of the emergency powers regulations. Exports to Jamaica's top trading partners increased by 14% to $173.1 million for the first 2 months of 2022, compared to the corresponding period last year. The country's top trading partners are the United States of America, the United Kingdom, Canada, Puerto Rico, and Finland. A report from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, indicates that the January and February outturn to these areas was largely attributed to higher exports of bunker C fuel oil and turbo A1 fuel to the USA. At the same time, however, total export earnings fell by 9.5% to $208.5 million, coming from the $230.4 million earned in January and February 2021. Statin says this decline was primarily due to a 66.6% fall in the value of outflows in the category crude materials. Domestic exports, which accounted for 84.6% of total outflows, declined by 11.8%, largely attributed to an 80.6 percentage point fall in the export of alumina. Meanwhile, Jamaica's import expenditure increased to just over $1 billion, a 32.4% increase for the review period. Statin says this was due to increased spending on all categories of imported goods. 20,000 students ages 16 to 20 are to benefit from training and certification through a Global Services Sector GSS High School Immersion Bootcamp. The free training program is being implemented through a partnership between the GSS project and one-on-one educational services. It begins July 11 and will run for 2 months under the theme Yes, Youth Empowered Skills to Careers Unlocked. Interested persons are invited to register at gss.onexcel.co. Live and pre-recorded classes will be delivered virtually. CEO of One-on-One Educational Services, Ricardo Allen, says the program will not only focus on careers in business and accounting, but also next-generation kinds of careers, such as information and industrial technology.
Through this curriculum, we aim to prepare students for the working world, right? So we're talking about 4 weeks of intense online classes, case studies, and, having a whole lot of fun doing that, but certainly ensuring that at the end of it, our students can get certified through Hartrust NTA.
Mr. Allen was speaking at a JIS think tank on Tuesday. He says once the enhanced job readiness curriculum is completed, the bootcamp phase of the program will come into effect.
We're talking about an intense workshop with our students led by industry experts, PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, right? Those are the accounting folks. We're talking about Jamaica Public Service, right? They focus on electrical engineering. We're going to be ensuring that the students understand power generation and so on.
The University of Technology Jamaica, UTech, will provide support to the program by helping students understand how to start a business. Additionally, Microsoft will teach participants about cloud computing. 51 primary and infant schools will benefit from a donation of 100 water tanks to support the safe operation of face-to-face learning. The 1,000-gallon tanks, along with fixtures and fittings, are being donated by the United States Southern Humanitarian Command Program through the National Education Trust, NET. During a handover ceremony at Jamaica College on Tuesday, Education Minister Fable Williams said select schools in St. Catherine, Kingston, and St. Andrew would be among the first to receive tanks.
This donation will no doubt increase the supply of potable water to schools that are experiencing shortages.
United States Ambassador to Jamaica, His Excellency Nick Perry, says the donation is another example of the strong and continued cooperation between the two countries, as well as the importance of educational support.
Keeping our schools open, ensuring that students have everything they need to learn in a safe and healthy environment is critical. Promoting washing and hygiene in our schools has never been more urgent.
And finally, Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange, has opened the Kingston Biennial Art Exhibition as part of the Jamaica 60 observances. This is the first exhibition since 2017 and is being held at the National Gallery of Jamaica under the theme Pressure.
The many unique ways in which the exhibition's theme of pressure can be interpreted and expressed can be seen in the exhibition. We anticipate that the visitorship of the gallery will also be revitalized by how relatable this very Jamaican idiom is to all Jamaicans, both here and abroad.
In addition to the local cohort of artists, the exhibition will also feature the works of Jamaicans in the diaspora, namely the United States, Trinidad, the United Kingdom, and Australia. The Kingston Biennial Art Exhibition will run until December 31. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
It's always beautiful in Jamaica. Everything usually be green and pretty. We have beautiful water. Temperature that is normal temperature. The water never cold. We've been into business for about 13 years. JUSC COOL, just cool. It's spelled with 3 0. We make 3 different types of pudding. We make potato, we make cornmeal, and we make total. This is the cornmeal, okay? That's actually almost the last process. What he's gonna do now, he's gonna put a gel on top. Within no time, he has to take it off because the gel give it a nice taste. We have the people like Shelley and Fraser came here. We have, you could name the biggest artists, Shabba Ranks, name them all. Being the Man, they all come here and buy their pudding. This is what we grew up on. Now, when the people come to Jamaica, everybody, as soon as they land off the plane, this is where they come. They want to taste this pudding because it's bringing them back to the old days. The long time days when they was kids growing up and they used to sit on the fire and watch their mama, their grandmother bake the pudding. We try not to change off our roots, we try to keep it that way. And not only that, we have a lot of love, because we're all about love.
Addressing women's health issues remains a critical part of our government, and highlighting these issues along with the solutions remains a part of our focus. Now, in the final installment of our three-part series on women's health issues, we speak about menopause.
Just yesterday, you were living the days of your youth. And today, things are a little different. Well, considerably different. That's because you're well into your midlife stage.
The reality of biology is perhaps pulling the thought of menopause much closer to your cerebrum than ever before, while taking with it thoughts of apprehension and quite possibly trepidation.
Some may fear the hot flashes, others the rumored weight gain, but the menopausal journey of every woman isn't told in the exact same way. Still, our health responses to this new chapter in life can be similar.
Menopause is actually a naturally occurring phase in a woman's life, and it happens when your ovaries, which is the female sex organs, when their function decreases. In order for you to make the diagnosis, 12 consecutive months have had to pass without the period.
The journey comes in stages, and getting to the final could mean an increased risk of health conditions like osteoporosis. So amplifying information, knowledge, and responses about menopause is significant for all women.
So there are three main stages of the menopause, right? You have the perimenopause, which is before the actual menopause, the menopause, and post-menopause, which is after. So the perimenopause, also called the climacteric, is the period during which the ovarian function begins to slow down. And so these women now will start to have a slowing down of their periods. This is when the hot flashes will begin, insomnia, mood changes like irritability. And this period typically starts on average at about age 47 and a half.
We're about to meet Joan, who is well into her 40s. And while Joan understands that menopause is certain, what was happening inside her body was nothing she could ever prepare for.
I'm now perimenopausal, and I realized that my body was changing, menstruating became irregular, and this was constant, and it came at a time when it should not have come. So I had to visit the doctor, and she says maybe it's stress. So I thought that, okay, it is because of the stress. But it continued, it never stopped, and I'm seeing it for months, and then it picked up speed and became aggressive. My menstrual cycle became aggressive and wouldn't stop. Then I became anemic, and so the doctors were getting very concerned. It was not confirmed until after many tests. My dysmenorrhea was overriding the injections and the tablets that were given. So they were very concerned, so they have to be checking pancreas, liver, a lot of things. I went through procedures. I was the one who started doing a journal, start picking up my different changes, my moods. I realized that my cycle, it just stopped, and the doctor confirmed at that time that it's early menopause I was going through.
Then when you get to the period now of the menopause, this is now where there have been 12 consecutive months of no period. That now you can say, okay, this is the menopause. Post-menopausally now, so this would be after there has been 12 months of no period. Fortunately, the symptoms begin to wane. They begin to improve, although not necessarily disappear. They can be up to for 5 years after, and in the minority of women, up to 10 years thereafter.
The point at which menopause decides to make its introduction to a woman is influenced by a number of factors. These can include things like genetics, surgery, and even chemotherapy.
To elaborate, if a woman, for example, is what we call a late bloomer, so she started her periods later in life, maybe age 15, 16 years, she is likely to go into the menopause later. Later meaning the average age being 51, she will likely menstruate until she is 55, 56. And this phenomenon is genetic usually. So if your mom is a late bloomer, you'll be a late bloomer and you'll go into the menopause later. Similarly, if you start menstruating earlier, you're likely to go into the menopause earlier. As it relates to something like surgery, you can go into something called surgical menopause. So if you have had to have your ovaries removed for any reason, then there will be no ovary to function and you will go into the menopause, right? If you unfortunately have had cancer and required chemotherapy, chemotherapy affects rapidly dividing cells, such as the ones in your ovaries, and again that can cause cessation of the function of the ovaries.
I realize I'm getting extremely hot. Even when it is a cool time, I'm extremely hot. A lot of tenderness in my breast, and I realized that I was very fatigued. I will reach home and it's time I just want to sleep. And I was getting up throughout the course of the night feeling extremely hot. I go out and I'm just burning up. And I understand those are hot flashes. Went back to my doctor, but of course, they're not saying that it is at the time because they were more concerned with the dysmenorrhea, the constant bleeding that wouldn't stop.
As it relates to symptoms of the menopause, most women will complain about missed periods, or they had a period in January and it didn't come back until April and then not again until August, that kind of thing. So the periods are slowing down instead of coming every month as the woman is accustomed to. Additionally, she may experience hot flashes. That's a big irritating one for some women. She can also experience mood swings, insomnia, and vaginal dryness. So signs of the menopause. So these are the things that your doctor will elicit, right? Upon examination particularly, a woman will have certain vaginal changes. So the estrogen, which is one of the hormones that the ovary primarily produces, is responsible for keeping the vaginal skin and tissues plump, richly supplied with blood. So at the time of the menopause, these tissues will appear shrunken, maybe a little paler than normal. And actually, this is the reason why some women experience things like urinary frequency, because those tissues are just, not as plump and they're a bit shrunken. So that's another symptom, actually, that the woman could complain about.
I like the word journey because we're actually journeying, because every day I feel something new, because I'm even getting up and feeling pains in the morning where when I went to bed I was quite fine. A lot of women are afraid and do not speak about this issue because they feel it's unique to them. But I started asking the questions, and then I realized that a lot of persons from age 40 going up to 50, 52 to 55 are experiencing a lot of symptoms that they don't even understand what they are. I'm seeing persons who used to be agile have become slow. They can't walk properly. They're having dizziness. Their vision is blurring, and they're not talking.
Thereafter, on average, women will experience symptoms for up to 5 years on average. However, about 10% of women can have menopausal symptoms for as long as 10 years. So, that can be quite frustrating and irritating, but fortunately, that's the minority of women that will experience that.
Because they've confirmed that I'm now going through early menopause, the argument and the talks with my doctor is different. So I'm looking at my diet, how to change my diet. I realized that at this stage of my life that my body mass is getting larger. So all these have been confirmed, so I now have to exercise more. I drink a lot of water because we easily get dehydrated. And iron is very good because when you start feeling the cramps and the pains, the doctor is always ensuring that you are taking your iron because your blood counts can go down low.
As a woman, there's no way to really decline your enrollment to the menopausal community. It's just another stage of life, as natural as any other.
And while it can come with health issues, menopause in and of itself is not a health problem. In fact, for women like Joan, this experience marks a time of newfound wisdom and liberation.
This new stage of life, I'm accepting it well. I'm enjoying it actually because it comes with experience. What I would advise women who are now going through this stage of their life is that it's nothing to fear. It is something that you should embrace because it also teaches wisdom. The experience will teach you wisdom and you can help other persons. I would advise them to start going to the doctor. Doesn't have to be a gyno. It could be your general practitioner, and start talking to the doctor about what you are experiencing, what you're going through, and start reading up also about it, but never forget to eat properly, exercise, meditate.
We need all Jamaicans to know that child abuse is not just an issue for the government, it's an issue for all Jamaicans. So we need everybody to help us to protect our children. If you know of a child who is being victimized, a child who is abused or neglected, just make that report so we can get that child the help they need. Calling or reporting is easy. All you have to do is remember to call 211. If you are an adult, if you're a child, if you are in church, in your community group, wherever you are, once you are aware there's a child who is in need of care and protection, just be the one and call 211.
Some diseases are contracted through direct contact. A recent one creating many discussions and chattering around the globe is monkeypox. Here's all you need to know about this disease.
Monkeypox is a rare disease that is similar to smallpox and can be transmitted by contact and droplet exposure. The disease is caused by the monkeypox virus, a member of the orthopox virus genus. While smallpox was eradicated in 1980, monkeypox continues to occur, mainly in countries of Central and West Africa.
The virus is normally found in animals, but the disease may be transmitted from animals to humans, usually through bites or scratches or consumption of bushmeat.
Cases have been found in animals such as squirrels, Gambian poached rats, dormice, different species of monkeys, and others. Human-to-human transmission can occur through contact with bodily fluids, lesions on the skin or internal mucosal surfaces such as in the mouth or throat, respiratory droplets, and contaminated objects.
Milder cases of monkeypox may go undetected and represent a risk of person-to-person transmission. Children are at high risk, and monkeypox during pregnancy may lead to complications, congenital monkeypox, or stillbirth.
Detection of viral DNA by a polymerase chain reaction PCR test is the preferred laboratory test for monkeypox. Antigen and antibody detection methods may not be as useful as they do not distinguish between orthopox viruses. Persons infected with monkeypox usually present with a fever, rash, and swollen lymph nodes. In addition to the swollen lymph nodes, the fever stage of the illness usually lasts 1 to 3 days and can come with intense headache, back pain, muscle ache, and an intense lack of energy. This is followed by the skin eruption stage, which lasts for 2 to 4 weeks.
The incubation period is usually 6 to 13 days, but it can range from 5 to 21 days. The disease is often self-limiting, with symptoms usually resolving spontaneously within 14 to 21 days.
Treatment of monkeypox patients is dependent on the symptoms. Vaccines used for smallpox eradication have provided protection against monkeypox, while newer vaccines have been developed to specifically prevent this disease, one of which has been approved by the World Health Organization. Persons can also protect themselves using the same safety protocols for COVID-19.
Present COVID-19 measures of practicing physical distancing, mask wearing, and frequent hand sanitization will also reduce the likelihood of transmission of monkeypox virus.
In recent times, monkeypox outbreaks have been reported in Europe, North America, and Australia, with more countries reporting cases. Most cases are linked to persons with recent travel to countries where monkeypox is endemic, mainly in the region of West Africa. But caution is urged all around the world. The World Health Organization says the current outbreak is spreading primarily through sexual contact.
Persons must report to the health department if they develop a fever, a rash, following recent international travel, or close contact with persons who have traveled to endemic countries. Healthcare workers must also have a heightened sense of awareness of this disease that has been spreading in some countries and report suspected cases to the health department.
Prevention of diseases is important to our well-being, so let's all remain vigilant and practice good hygiene and measures that protect us against the monkeypox and other contagious viruses. Be safe for long life. Stay in good health. Was chocolate milk invented in Jamaica? Well, history has it that the first use of the term milk chocolate was for a beverage brought to London from Jamaica in 1687. The vehicle was one Sir Hans Sloane, physician to the governor of Jamaica. The story is that he was introduced to chocolate tea by slaves whom he saw drinking it. They told him that it was more delicious with milk and that the chocolate tea was also good for health. Sloane went back to England and produced milk chocolate, which later became Cadbury's. But it was not until the Swiss inventor Daniel Peter successfully combined cocoa and condensed milk in 1875 that the commercial milk chocolate bar was invented. Celebrating Jamaica 60 with pieces of our history.
Another day of learning with your Jamaica Magazine team ends here, but tomorrow promises a fresh package. Get access to this and past episodes on our YouTube channel. You can also keep up with the JIS by visiting our website and following us on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. From all of us here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. See you soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.